final article of the evening. Well, actually, we got a couple more, but the one we're going to cover, and then we got some source articles. From RT, NYPD will deploy harmless gas into subway in terror response drill. Ah, wow, we haven't seen that before. The New York City Police Department announced Wednesday that it will deploy then track what it calls harmless gases into the city's subway system over 3 non-consecutive days this summer. There's a whole new meaning to passing the gas. They're going to be passing the gas into the subway system. Now, back in 2005, Amy Goodman from Democracy Now! Conducted an interview with Leonard Cole, and the title of this article is How the U.S. Government Exposed Thousands of Americans to Lethal Bacteria to Test Biological Warfare. Homeland Security Department last month released what they said was a non-toxic gas into Grand Central Station. So they did this back in 2005, too. And it talks about Democracy Now! Spoke with chemical terrorism expert Leonard Cole to ask what the non-toxic gas actually was. He wrote a book about how in the 1950s and 60s, U.S. government scientists ran a series of tests to determine how easy it was to expose large numbers of people to lethal bacteria. And if you go down into the transcript, Amy Goodman asked, when did it happen? He says, Leonard Cole says, the test in the subways was in 1966 and was part of an experimental program that lasted 20 years, beginning in 1949 and ending only in 1969. They emphasized that the materials that were used to simulate anthrax and other deadly organisms were harmless. But in my research and in the work that was published in the book, it was very clear that some sort of materials were not totally harmless. That when you expose 1 million or 2 to 3 million people to a relatively harmless material, you still have a certain segment of the population that could be at risk. But I guess those are risks we have to take. We have to test our human populace without their knowledge. And, you know, some of them might die. Yeah, I guess you could say that's what the vaccine program is. They inject enough kids, and some of them, well, they have convulsions and die. But, you know, it's only a few. It's a small percentage, you know. So conspiracy theorists would call that a false flag, as our Skixie Award winner would say. Yeah, or they'll throw you in prison and say you shook your baby after they die from convulsions in their crib. And they call it crib death. Yeah, that's how nice they are. Our people in the federal government aren't there to help you. They're not there for your security. They're there to provide you tyranny. There it is. Slavery is freedom is their motto, and that's what they practiced in Boston last week. So when you make fun of Alex Jones and put out tweets that he's crazy, let me tell you, he's not crazy. He is spot on with his analysis. And he came out day one and said this looks like a false flag, and he was right. So the U.S. government does, always has, and probably always will conduct experiments on us. Does that make you feel better? Does that help you sleep at night? Now, before we go, we have one last report from the Kraken, Dan Badandi. Last week on the 19th, Oath Keepers was supposed to have their gathering at the Lexington Green. I attended that in 2009 and shot a bunch of videos, actually took the oath, even though I never served in the armed forces. But they said anybody can take the oath. And I took it there. I went there with Aaron Dykes, and we shot a bunch of interviews. I think it was included as an extra in Fall of the Republic. And anyway, Dan was there. They wanted to encircle the green with police and not allow them to have their gathering because they were afraid that, I guess, Oath Keepers are some sort of terrorist organization and they were going to mount some attack. Here's Dan. He's a little emotional in this report, but we know he means well, and we know he systematically stopped 3 press conferences when they were trying to put out their false flag Patsy story and basically caught him in the act. So here's that report.
This is Dan Badandi reporting for the InfoWars Nightly News. What you're looking at behind me is the Lexington battleground that's been roped off by the local police here, and they will not, on the city ordinance, they will not allow Oath Keepers on that land. 239 years ago, our founding fathers, our relatives who fought in the Revolution, died on that land, and that's the home of democracy, folks, the home of freedom in this country, and our people are not allowed on that land. It is despicable, and any police here that's following orders just doesn't cut it. Why are they being denied on the grounds that our founding fathers fought for all our freedoms?
If you're not informed of what's happening.
I know they pulled the permit, but by you guys following these orders, you are being held accountable because you following orders just doesn't cut it. This is ridiculous, man, and you know, I know it's not your fault, but I mean, these guys gotta...
Are you aware that people have died this morning?
Oh, absolutely, but that has nothing to do... 239 years ago, our founding fathers died over here, too.
Are you aware that it's
I know what happened.
Very close proximity to where we are right now?
I understand, but what's that to do with us being over there?
You obviously don't understand, I'm sorry.
Well, what's that have to do with Patriots being on the battlefield?
I think that we probably should think about a couple of weeks, actually, to have this all settled down.
I find myself struggling, as we all are, with not wanting terrorist acts to prevail and to impinge on our freedoms that we all cherish. At the same time, we all cherish our freedoms but expect a high degree of public safety from our municipal employees and from our elected officials.
But Boston, the city that's affected by this, has already moved past it. And by dwelling on this in the city of Lexington days after is once again sending the wrong message, and we're giving this person the attention they want. We're giving them the victory they search for. I don't want to buckle my knees in the face of terror. I don't want to tell them they're victorious. I'm not afraid. On April 19th, I will stand on that ground, despite any possibility of something happening. I'm not afraid of it.
We should be able to hold our whole rally over there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How does it feel that you're restricted?
I think it's ridiculous. I think the selectmen of this town have taken the mask off and shown their true colors. What they are is Marxists. You know, they don't want to even recognize the heritage of their own town. When they talked about what we're doing today, they made reference to Oklahoma City and to Timothy McVeigh, as though that's why we're here.
Our founding fathers died and our relatives died on that land. How does that make you feel that you can't step 1 foot without getting arrested on that?
Well, it's sort of tragic because this group, the Oath Keepers and a few other groups, had the permit, and as selectman in town, the lady that runs the select chairwoman, she said there may be some connection between you folks and what happened in Boston on April 15th.
So that's automatically demonized patriot groups, which we know on Homeland Security, the top of their list is returning veterans and patriot groups. And how does this make you feel, man?
Well, that's the Southern Poverty Law Center's influence. 30 or 40 years ago, the conservative type group, patriot groups, were sort of warning the FBI about these far left groups. Now the tide has turned. Now they're the ones that are saying, oh, the people who take an oath, the people at homeschool, the people that believe in the Constitution, they're the bad guys.
You see the police are denying these guys that right the First Amendment, that they should be on that battleground. Who are you people to deny them that? These guys are tyrants. Our founding fathers died in that field for your freedom, and you're denying them access to that road. These guys are disgrace.
It looks like they're slowly trying to kind of incriminate any police officers or any military men who want to uphold their oath.
We have been given a heritage that is priceless, and may God grant that we can keep this heritage so that our children and our grandchildren can not only enjoy it, but actually make it even better than what they've been given by us.
It is a discrimination to the Constitution, a smack in the face to all our founding fathers and everybody fought for our country. And this is Dan Badani reporting from Lexington Green of InfoWars and Nightly News.
Release the Kraken!
We're not getting our guns. I'm telling you right now, you are not getting our guns. You can assess me all you want, okay? My name is Dan Badani. I'm not afraid of you. I'm a patriot. I'm sticking up against tyranny. Just like our founding fathers did in 1776. 1776 will commence again.
Release the Kraken. And there he goes. He does exactly what we ask him to do. He's actually got some more great reports coming out. We're going to be doling them out next week. Dan is surely on fire. And that takes us to our quote of the day from Captain John Parker of Lexington Green, April 19th, 1775. Stand your ground, don't fire unless fired upon, but if they mean to have a war, let it begin here. And that's the statue of John Parker, who's up there. You saw that in the report earlier. And let me tell you, those guys stood their ground to the largest empire in the world at the time. So you got to give it to them for that. And that was the shot heard around the world. The date is April 26, 2013, and you're watching us on prisonplanet.tv. I'm Rob Dew, and this is InfoWars Nightly News, and we'll see you next week.
Authoritarian control freaks throughout history have sought to make populations dependent. The United Nations openly has talked about using food as a weapon against the third world and the industrialized first world. State Department Memorandum 200, developed by Henry Kissinger, called for destroying the food capacity, not just of the United States, but every country in the world, so they could use food scarcity as a political weapon of control. Just a decade ago, less than 10 million Americans were on food stamps. 4 years ago, it was 25 million. It's now reached almost 50 million. Socialist health care is designed to destroy our health care system. The establishment wants you to be a bunch of cowardly, dumbed-down people who can't stand up for yourselves. That's why they're rushing to try to restrict citizens owning firearms. Because since the early 1990s, gun ownership has gone straight up, while violent crime has gone straight down by 49%. And globalist-controlled strongholds like Chicago and New York, where they've taken the citizens' guns, have the highest crime rates in the world. What am I getting at here? The system doesn't want you to be self-sufficient. That's why I promote the fact that you should go out, buy firearms, and go take lessons and learn how to use them. I want you to stand up for your birthright of liberty and freedom. During a serious meltdown, they're going to tell you, hey, you want food? Turn in your guns. And that's why we need to put the globalists in check. And then finally bring them to checkmate by being self-sufficient, by being prepared, by having a garden, by learning how to can your own foods, by having friends and family and community that will stand together. But at the heart of that is having quality, storable foods. And that's why I went out more than a decade ago and found the very best food company to be my sponsor, eFoods Direct. They're the company that I personally use for my emergency food storage preparation, whether it be for natural disasters or the tyranny that is intensifying. So give them a call, 800-409-5633. That's 800-409-5633. Or efoodsdirect.com/Alex to find the weekly and monthly specials. But they're always running the specials where you can get the free 6 meals and the eFoods Direct audio CD put together by the experts in storable foods to answer all your questions, the eFoods planning guide, the eFoods brochure, the eFoods catalog, plus 6 free meals, creamy potato soup, tortilla soup, and cheesy chicken rice, so you can sample the high-quality storable foods from eFoods Direct. They've got a bunch of other specials.
The 2-week food supply provides one adult with 81 servings of healthy, delicious, storable food for 14 days.
The 1-month food supply provides 192 servings for 28 days.
And then there's the 1-month family food pack. It will change the way you look at the food in your pantry. Every time you eat one of these meals, you are eating healthy, delicious food and saving a lot of money.
The 3-month food supply, 576 servings of storable food for 91 days.
And the 1-year food supply will provide you with 2,304 servings of healthy, delicious, storable food for 1 full year.
Your meals are as delicious and nutritious tonight as they'll be in 25 years.
Bottom line, there's a bunch of specials at efoodsdirect.com/Alex. You can also call them at the toll-free number on your screen, and they can send you a catalog with all the specials detailed and tell you about the weekly and monthly specials that they're always running. efoodsdirect.com/Alex to find all the specials, or call the toll-free number. And so in closing, when you buy from efoodsdirect.com, you are supporting the radio broadcast, the nightly news, the magazine, the films, and everything we're doing. Because we're not like MSNBC or Media Matters that get government and corporate funding to bring down America and bring in tyranny. We are funded by our sponsors and you, the viewers and listeners that support them. Again, that's efoodsdirect.com/Alex or 800-409-5633. And when you're also visiting Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com, you can click on the banners to take you to the weekly and monthly specials. It's like the Hank Williams Jr. song, "A Country Boy Can Survive," because you can't starve us out and you can't make us run, because these boys were raised on shotguns. Well, there aren't really a lot of good old boys left anymore, are there? And those that are out there are demonized and are enemy number 1 by Homeland Security. And good old boys come in all shapes, colors, and sizes. They're people that aren't chumps, who understand that they're going to take care of their family and that nobody else is. There are people that understand that if somebody else is taking care of them, that makes them a slave. And that the government doesn't want you dependent because they want to build a great future for you. They want to get you dependent so they can social engineer us. So the answer is get self-sufficient, become men again, and tell the New World Order to go straight to hell. Alex Jones signing off for Infowars.com and eFoods Direct, our great sponsor.